The economy is on fire, but not every American is working right now or participating. So different ideas are floating around there, right? You've got one idea that, hey, how about if we find a way to get women back into the workforce by lowering child care costs? Then there's the other idea. Forget about getting people to work. How about free money, universal basic income? Those are the competing ideas here to discuss. We've got Deroy Murdock is back with us along with Capri Cafaro. Capri, I was really shocked. The Federal Reserve, which Powell spoke with the Senate today, sent a letter saying that 15% of women not in the workforce can't get into the workforce because of the skyrocketing cost of child care. Essentially, I think they think Congress somehow should work on this. You think that'd be a smart idea?
I think either the state government or the federal government have an opportunity, I think, to tackle this issue of child care. What we see is a lot of investment in child care subsidies for lower income families, and that happens, again, both at the state and the federal level. And, obviously, women and families need to rely on some kind of child care. Many rely on family. Some don't have that luxury. And frankly, even if they have family close by, those individuals may need to work. Let's not also forget that, in general, people may also have a loved one, for example, that might be sick that need to be taken care of. But in the context of child care, I think one of the things that we need to focus on is the middle class people that fall through the cracks, find a way to basically phase in a tiered, more means-tested system, a greater amount of, a child care subsidy. That's just one idea as a possibility.
Deroy, in the first tax, in this tax bill, there were certain measures, I think, championed by Ivanka Trump that sort of addressed this or went toward addressing this. I wouldn't be surprised if President Trump even took it a step further.
He might do that, but this is another great example where the government doing a lot less could help. In a lot of places, people could get informal child care, but they can't because of all these licensing requirements. When I was growing up, we had a wonderful lady who lived across the street from my elementary school named Mrs. Antrim, and she was across the street from our school. We'd walk there. She would have food for us, the LA Times. She'd have books for us to read. It was terrific, and then my mom would pick us up, and we'd go home and have dinner and all that. So my mom got inexpensive child care. Mrs. Antrim got some additional money. I got a babysitter, and this is all done without having social workers and inspectors and all sorts of government.
That was the gig economy before Uber, right?
That's right.
I think we all knew about that.
So we need more Mrs. Antrims is what we need.
Well, but you got to be careful with that. I mean, I hear what you're saying, but I mean, you do want to be able to strike a balance to ensure that children are actually in a safe environment, and there is an argument to be made.
I feel safer with what's her name again?
Mrs. Antrim. She was
great. Then I do a lot of these programs. But let's shift because the alternative to this now, Chicago's the latest town in America talking about, hey, let's just provide universal basic income. It's a plan that's been tried before. Stockton, California wants to do it. Essentially, it's free money. It's oxymoronic. They tried it in Finland. It failed. How do you give people money? And this is a democratic idea. How do you give people money, Capri, and then think that they'll say, OK, I'm going to go to work now?
Well, look, I mean, this $500 is not necessarily, I think it's a $500 stipend. I think it's a bad idea, to be honest. I mean, I don't think that it is, where we want to invest our money, where we want to invest our tax dollars. If you're going to give somebody $500 a month, make sure that they're spending it on something like childcare. Make sure that they're spending it on something like some kind of a training or even being able to access, transportation to be able to get to work, which is sometimes a barrier to be able to, get or maintain employment. I don't think it's a good idea, but I may be in the minority of Democrats.
I think Deroy likes it, though.
You know me, I'm Mr. Big Government Programs. I think the best way to help people with low incomes is through economic growth. We now have the record low black unemployment, record low Hispanic unemployment. The female adult unemployment is the lowest level since 1953 under Eisenhower. So more tax cuts, more deregulation, more economic growth, and these things will take care of themselves.
Also, the pride of working is you can't put a mathematical number on it. Thank you both very much.